Alright guys, looks like we've got another really good game for 2024 with the Plucky Square. I've had my eyes on this game for a couple of years now, and now we've got the reviews that are dropping and things are looking really good for this game. But before we get into anything, what's good everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, and click that notification bell to get my Nintendo Switch RPG videos and more first. Now let's go ahead and jump right into this because the Plucky Square, a very interesting game, has a 2D, 3D mechanics, super unique art style, and a game that's been showcased many times and has been delayed just as many times. So it's good to see that it's finally getting ready to launch. And we're gonna go over everything when it comes to what makes this game good, not so good, and where maybe you should pick it up, just giving you an idea. Now remember guys, this is Metacritic reviews, so just think of it like, hey, it's just a basis, it's just something as a tool. It's not the be all end all to pick up the game or not, or what they say goes. You just look at the game, see the gameplay. If it appeals to you, then obviously you can check it out at some point. If not, that's also cool. But I wanted to give you guys the rundown on what makes this game so good, at least why people are saying it's awesome. Now this is PC reviews. We've got over 55 plus reviews. We're going to be breaking it down from the top scores, the middle scores, and the low scores so far. Right now looking good at an 85 overall average. That means 8.5 out of 10. So that is a very good game. Green, all good across the board, except for about 6 reviews. So let's get right into this here, guys. CG Magazine gave a 10 out of 10 and said the Plucky Square is a phenomenal game from a debut studio and is an absolute must play. Game Liner gave it a 10 out of 10 and said all possible futures has created a wonderful creative game with the Plucky Square. The book itself is colorful and filled with fun little puzzles, which answers you find by jumping to other pages. Meanwhile, the 3D world on the desk is incredibly detailed. The transition between these two worlds is quick and smooth, offering a combination of unique gameplay for young and old. ZTGD, they gave it a 10 out of 10 and said the Plucky Square is a charming, inventive, and utterly delightful adventure that deserves a place in every gamer's collection. Whether you're drawn to its unique mechanics, captivating story, or simply the joy of exploring a beautifully crafted world, this game offers something special for everyone. Don't miss out on this enchanting journey. The Kingdom of Mojo needs their hero. Windows Central gave it a 10 out of 10 and said the Plucky Square combines 2D action adventure with 3D platforming for a fourth wall breaking good time while serving as a family friendly love letter to the art and literature that creatively inspires us. 10 out of 10 from the enemy. The Plucky Square brings us back to our childhood when we were still learning about video games. Despite its ambitious premise, the game makes you fall in love with it with innocence and simplicity, remembering us why we even like games after all. All right, those were all of the perfect scores so far. We're going to move into the 9 out of 10 scores. We're going to start with Atomics with a 9.3 out of 10, saying thanks to the spectacular puzzle design, a visual style that mixes two-dimensional art with super realistic 3D graphics, music that fills your ears at all times, as well as a story that might seem simple at first, but quickly overflows and touches on complex themes of the human condition. The Plucky Square becomes one of the most special experiences we have been able to enjoy in 2024, and of course another great example of why independent video game development remains crucial to the well-being of this special form of entertainment. And Devolver Digital managed to live up to what was initially promised and the great expectations that were generated, delivering a true must-have that will undoubtedly be on many lists of the best of the year. All right, good stuff there. Next up is from Game Heroes, 9 out of 10. Says the Plucky Square oozes creativity and charm on every page. It stands aside Baltro and Animal Well as one of the best indie games of the year. 9 out of 10 from God is a Geek. The Plucky Square is a game oozing with charm and positivity, and the clever word and book-based puzzles will keep you gripped from start to finish. Noisy Pixel, one of my favorite sites, gave it a 9 out of 10, saying the Plucky Square was truly a delightful and charming adventure filled to the brim with clever jokes, beautiful graphics, and a range of fun gameplay mechanics. It does not overstay its welcome and instead offers a polished experience from start to finish, even though it sometimes holds the player's hand a bit too much for my taste. I had a fantastic time and wish I could play it for the first time again. Twinfinite with a 9 out of 10. Hooking me right up from the start and eliciting pure joy all the way to the end. The Plucky Squire has gone the extra mile in rewriting what should be expected out of an action adventure such as this. By drawing from classic inspirations and adding its own spin on things, this is a game that leverages its creativity in all the good ways and ultimately writes a happy ending, not just for Jot and his friends, but hopefully also for the future of its creators. All right, good stuff there. Another 9 out of 10 from Game Spew. They say, we've been absolutely spoiled by excellent platforming adventures recently, and the Plucky Squire is up there with the best of them. Controlling Jot in this fourth wall breaking adventure is an utter delight. It's a shame a few bugs persist, but they're not quite enough to stop the Plucky Squire from being one of the highlights of the year so far. 9 out of 10 from Shaq News. One of the central focuses of the Plucky Squire's story is that it's a tale that inspires hope in all of the children who read it. I'm hopeful that this game will inspire any would-be developer who plays it, because it's a true expression of what's possible through gaming. All right, another 9 out of 10 from Games Hub. It hauls you along its journey with a bright spark in its eye and shows you sights you'll have rarely seen in other games. For that, it should be applauded. There's so little that's new under the sun, but the Plucky Squire has earned the right to claim this accolade. In its bright-eyed approach to platforming and its inventive nature, it's an enthralling and smile-inducing triumph. All right, another 9 out of 10 from Gaming Trend. The Plucky Squire is an adorable adventure for everyone to enjoy. It has some issues like glitches, and less than stellar story is the right word to describe the game. It's technically ambitious and impressively varied, making it easy to forgive its shortcomings. All right, 9 out of 10 from GameSpot. The Plucky Squire is a joyful story about creativity and inspiration that is itself both creative and frequently inspired. In the world of the game, the Plucky Squire is a beloved franchise and popular character with multiple entries in a long-running series. Here in the real world, he deserved to be a star too, and I can only hope that this is the start of his success story. All right, another 9 out of 10 from Destructoid. They said the Plucky Squire manages to expertly craft an adorably interesting story full of lovable characters, enjoyable narration, and near-perfect parallels between its 2D and 3D worlds. While some parts need just a bit more polish, it exceeded my already high expectations and gave me nearly a dozen hours of laughs, fun, and mental exercise. Plus, well, seeing a cast of cute little characters suddenly turn into buff badasses is a great bonus. I agree, that's awesome. But we are going to move to the 8 out of 10 scores. We're going to start with Voxel. They gave it an 8.5 out of 10, saying the Plucky Squire is a lighthearted experience that always manages to put a smile on the player's face with its surprises. Although it's more linear than desired, the game constantly plays with our expectations and reinvents its mechanics in an ingenious and fun way. Game Grin 8.5 out of 10 says the Plucky Squire has a very slow start with excessive dialogue and over-tutorialization, but once you get past that, shoutouts to the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 fans, it becomes an incredible dimension-shifting adventure you shouldn't miss out on. I added that Xenoblade Chronicles part, guys. All right, next up is from But Why Though, 8 out of 10, and they said the whole third act will especially leave you smiling like a fool because at its core, the Plucky Squire is a good, simple fun. It presents an earnest story with enough twists, fun references, and jokes to keep you looking for more, and it inspires us all to be more than we are. All right, next up is from Checkpoint Gaming, 8 out of 10, good score. The Plucky Squire may be one of the most exceptionally presented video games in recent memory, and moving from the 2D space to the 3D space, a sense of wonder is created that's unrivaled by the vast majority of other releases. That sense of wonderment is captured in the storytelling as well, which leans on the charm of children's fiction. Perhaps a little too scared to create complex depth to the puzzles or gameplay, more mature audiences may find this game lacking in some regard. However, that doesn't stop the title from being wildly appealing and an absolute delight from prologue to epilogue. All right, next up is from Digital Trends, 8 out of 10. Once the story finally starts delivering on its themes in the back half of the adventure, and Jot obtains all of his storybook manipulation abilities, the Plucky Squire is a joy. We've entered a post-mortem era for the video game industry where all the art itself can start discussing what came before it, who made it, and why it was made. The Plucky Squire finds itself standing tall in the middle of that trend. It's a must-play if you want to understand why game developers, artists, or any kind of creator makes things in spite of so many forces trying to blot their work out. I agree. I mean, even if you're looking at it from the content creation side, so good stuff there as well. Next up, 8 out of 10 from Hardcore Gamer. While the Plucky Squire could have benefited from being fleshed out just a little bit more, it still provides a unique genre-hopping adventure, one that perfectly captures the feeling of a childlike wonder in Jot and the land of Mojo. Alright, we're going to go to the Video Gamer. Endlessly creative and playful, the Plucky Squire's effortless hop between intertwined 2D and 3D worlds is an ode to the illustrated delights. So we're going to get into the last bit of green 7 scores here. There's only a couple, then we'll get into the mixed scores. Survivor gives it a 7.5 out of 10 and says, while Astrobot and the Plucky Squire are about creativity and joy, the latter manages to get in its own way in comparison. The results are jarring. All right, next up, Xbox Era gave it a 7.5 out of 10, saying the Plucky Squire is a game clearly made with a serious amount of love for the wonderful medium of glorious interactivity that is video games, and for it being the first title from a development team all possible futures. It's a staggering achievement in art, design, and ideas. It's just a shame the gameplay didn't get as much attention as the nostalgia it so skillfully indulges. Okay, so there's a little bit of a trend kind of saying, hey, you know, it takes a while to pick up, it takes a little bit of time to get going, kind of late in the second half, probably that should have been moved forward a bit more, less hand-holding. So I do see what's kind of going on with this game. Now let's get into these mixed scores overall. Screen Rant with a 7 out of 10. They said the essential excitement of turning the page to discover what's next is so powerfully represented in the Plucky Squire, and the game retains this energy to its final chapters. Even while otherwise lacking notable tension or danger, it's an entertainingly busy book to play through, but it's a pity that many of the Plucky Squire's best ideas are ultimately underexplored. Next up from WCCF Tech, they gave it a 7 out of 10, saying, although the game was a lot of fun and I enjoyed the actual gameplay elements of it, the story just didn't grab me. Initially, I was also deterred by the massively contrasting art styles and the finicky menus. Overall, the game is a pleasant experience, appropriate for gamers of all age. If the story had some more flashy dramatics, it may have pulled me in earlier. The Plucky Squire is very evidently a product made with a lot of love, and you can tell from just the level of polish that it has. All right, next up from PC Games, 7 out of 10. It says the Plucky Squire is a short but charming Zelda-like filled to the brim with ideas and creative twists. Had we not gotten stuck on multiple occasions due to bugs, with the final time costing us our playthrough, we'd recommend it wholeheartedly. So that's the first time that we've really seen to where there's a really big issue with some of the bugs. Now, it's been noted that, yeah, there's some issues here and there, but that's the first major one that I've come across in the reviews. Now, we have one score that's in the 60s. It's from the Indie Informer, and they stated this, 6.5 out of 10. In the end, the title's glittering potential was blotted out by its somber execution. So those are the scores for the Plucky Squire. So far, so good on PC, and on PlayStation 5 it's also a low 80s on there. So it seems like it's a solid 8 out of 10 game with some really cool innovative things that it does within the 2D and the 3D. The mechanics, the graphics look good, the sound, music, all of that is awesome. The storytelling, dialogue, that is good, but might be drugged down just a little bit by the easiness of the game. The fact that there are some issues with the bugs or glitches, some things that can cause some problems with your game as well, and the fact that it doesn't really get started until the second half, and the game is also short as well. So it seems like those are the common factors in terms of the positives and negatives with the Plucky Squire. So the game is out this week. Of course, you can go check out the Plucky Squire. Let me know what you guys think about it. Any of you guys plan on playing it? I know I'm going to be picking it up at some point, probably when there's like the physical, once that gets released on PlayStation 5, I'll give it a shot for sure. But I love to see games like this. They're trying new things, trying something different, and independent studios can really do things a bit differently than what we see from the major AAA games. So there's always a balance, and it's always good to have something like this, a game that really tries to do things like this on the marketplace for us in 2024. Another great game. So what do you guys think overall? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other videos right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.